Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, heard Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on PSA.com and the PSA Facebook page. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by PSA and the National Sports Collectors Convention. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all of your hobby news, features, and more, visit sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now, your hosts, Tom Zappala and John Molori.
JM, my main man.
What's up, brother?
What's that? Is that new?
It's an Apple Watch.
Life is good.
It's okay.
You know?
Yeah, it's a good life.
Steal it?
No, borrowed it. I'm going to give it back after the show.
Hey, we got a great show today. Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp and Johnny Molori, affectionately known as JM.
JM. How'd you come up with that?
No, really. Hey, we got a great show today. We've got our good friend Joe Drelich from East. I always get it. East.
Just say what it is. East Coast Sports Marketing.
You're right. I want to use the.
Why are we doing abbreviations?
Joe's going to be joining us, and then we got Mike.
We got to kill an hour. No abbreviations.
Mike Provenzale from Heritage, and then the man himself, Joe Tomasulo,
Wow.
if we can find him. I think he's in the nursing home, but they're going to let him out.
It's an all-star lineup.
Joe T is going to join us, but first, our headlines brought to us each week by our good friend Rich Miller and the gang at Sports Collectors Daily. This one's disturbing.
What we got?
Yankees prospect cut over memorabilia scamming. Collectors in Facebook groups thought they found a minor league baseball player who was willing to help them land some game-used equipment from New York Yankee prospects. Now that player has been released amid allegations he stole from teammates and left collectors hanging out to dry. The discussion about Jake Sanford, a former third-round draft pick, has been percolating since earlier this spring. Anyone want to hear how I got scammed out of $600 by Jake Sanford of the Yankees? If he doesn't pay up tonight, it will be over 2.5 months, wrote collector Matt Shea on May 9th. Other collectors have been voicing the same problem.
So this dude was taking stuff. And
listen, Sanford's minor league bio disappeared, and on Wednesday quoted a source with knowledge of the situation that Sanford had been cut by the Yankees over allegations he was repeatedly hounded teammates for their equipment to sell online while also occasionally swiping it from their lockers. Sanford, 24, was a native of Nova Scotia who was selected by the Yankees in the third round. Listen to this one. He was in their top 35 prospects.
Wow.
In 2021, he hit .285 with 16 home runs. Now he's playing for some independent team, and who the hell knows. For more information, you can go to sportscollectorsdaily.com.
But, I would have had a better
Isn't that
headline.
crazy?
Listen to a better headline.
Go ahead.
Scam Yankees.
There you go.
Right.
Very nice. All right, first up, our good friend Joe Drelich. Joseph, how you doing, bud?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Good. Joe, you have a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff. Let's talk, first of all, about the CSA shows. Some great stuff happening there.
Yeah, we're excited about that coming up here in a couple weeks, June 24th to the 26th, which is a new date for us. As you may or may not know, that the show's been there for 26 years now. We were always the early part of July, second week of July. And after many requests from dealers to kind of separate our show from the national a little bit, just give some distance between the two events, we were able to secure space in June from the Dulles Expo Center, which we're excited about. So we've got a complete sellout from a vendor standpoint. Over 400 tables we're at right now, and we're excited to have the new dates, and it seems to be the right thing, for us and for our dealers. So,
Hey, Joe, we've been reading the spots for the CSA show for a couple weeks, and when I first read it, this was probably a couple weeks ago that I first read it. As I'm reading it, you have some tremendous players here, especially just in the ad, the football players, Mel Blount, Chris Carter, Marshall Faulk, my man Doug Flutie, who was at BC with me, Mean Joe Green, Richard Seymour.
They flunked out together.
Yeah, he was 2 years ahead of me. But yeah, the lineup's unbelievable. Those are, just right there, you got you have Hall of Famers.
Can you add to that, Joe? Because I know there's some others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's kind of what the show has always been known for since the early stages of that show back in the 90s. It was known as the football show to be. They always secured amazing football guests, and again, there's a team of us involved with the show, and that credit goes to not me. I don't do any of the player bookings. I do the show promotion stuff, work with the dealers, and that side of it. So I've got to give credit to the partners in that show, and that would be Bill G. He handles all the player allotments and is working hard behind the scenes to secure those. And not only the Classic Hall of Famers, but one of the things that the summer show's really famous for is getting a lot of the rookie crops. So I think we've got 10 or 12 guys from the first 2 rounds of this year's draft.
Wow.
I'm not going to be able to rattle them off to you,
Right.
but it's one of the things that we're notorious for year after year, to be able in the summer show right before training camp starts. They bring in a lot of the rookies. That'll be there as well.
And that's a neat thing for collectors as well, Zap. I mean,
Absolutely.
Especially guys that like to speculate who's going to be great. I mean, get in on the ground floor, get an autograph, add that to your collection, and then see where the player goes. That's pretty neat.
It really is. And again, like I said, year after year, we've been able to secure a lot of early picks, which has been great. So,
Joe, what about the Philly show? Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, the Philly show, we just made a big announcement with Philly show. We've been at the Valley Forge Casino in King of Prussia, PA for, I think, the last 14 years. And the last few years, we've really been suffering growing pains and really out of space. The floor there is 54,000 square feet. We've been at max capacity now for a few shows. And we've relocated down to the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, which is 5 miles straight down the road from the Valley Forge Casino. Really not complicated at all. It's if you were at the Valley Forge Casino, you'd pull out of the parking lot, make a right, go down 5 miles, and there's the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, which a lot of events take place there throughout the year. It's a huge facility. They've got several different rooms. We're in Hall B, which is going to bump us up from 54,000 square feet to 75,000 square feet.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great. We had over 40 vendors that we had to turn away last show in March just because of space constraints. So we're excited. We know that the crowd is there to support the additional vendors. We're excited to get the fresh vendors in there because the customers also would like to see new vendors. So we're really excited about that.
I was so impressed.
That was a fun
The first
time.
Philly show I did was last September
Yeah.
with you guys, and I was so impressed, Joe. I mean, and I can see why you're moving to a bigger space. The crowds were unbelievable, but everyone had
As
a
a
good
matter
time.
of fact, Joe, if I recall, didn't you have to set up shop out in the lobby yourself? Right?
We did, yeah. We and that was really kind of the final straw. We had to push our merchandise booth and ticket sales booth out into the hallway.
Exactly.
And then there's nowhere else to go. So.
My lasting memory, I'm telling you, he was doing crowd control.
I know.
Joe was like in the mix, man. He was like an usher at Fenway or something, or a bouncer somewhere.
Got to roll up your sleeves when you need to, man.
Joe, let's talk about the National. Let's sure.
Obviously
the National's coming up. You have a obviously we're excited, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Why don't you tell us about the National and you and James and what's going on there?
Yeah. So our booth is going to be solely dedicated to the art of James Fiorentino. Our booth is under East Coast Sports Marketing, which at some point I'll get on the show with you guys and we'll go over my whole, array of things that we've done over the years. As you know, I've been in the hobby my entire life in different capacities, and I have so many different facets. But anyway, this year we're going full throttle with James, not only to display his 30 years of work, but a project called There's Only One that James and I conceptualized during COVID, where James is painting some of the most iconic trading cards of all time in a one-of-a-kind format, which I think we might have covered once or so before on the show. But and then also we're going to be graced with your presence with the book. So we're actually super excited about that as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
It's going to be awesome.
We're going to be there, myself and JM and Ellen, our partner in crime, Joe Orlando, And James, because James James contributed some wonderful artwork
Rico
to the
be
book.
with us too, right?
And actually, Rico said, Rico was over the house on Sunday, scrounging sausage sandwiches, by the way, off of me. And he's going to hang out with us too. So if you want to meet and greet, we will have the book for sale. But that's really not what it's all about.
Right.
We want you guys to come by, say hi. If you want
Right.
to purchase a book, you're more than welcome to. But it's more of a meet and greet with all of us, and we're looking forward to it. And there's a rumor circulating, JM, that James is going to make a presentation to Rico while we're broadcasting on the Berkeley stage somewhere on Friday between 1 and 3. So I'm curious to see what that's all about.
That's going to be fun.
So we're looking forward to it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. No, very excited about that. Very excited about the national in itself. It's all the buzz, the hobby, and, is cranking full throttle right now. So I'm really excited.
Yeah,
to
that's
see,
what we're looking for. It's going to be
show
fun
this year and see you guys as well.
Joe, for more information, how can people find out more about the CSA show and about you at the National?
Yeah, so our parent website is pretty simple. It's ecsmsports.com. So that's East Coast Sports Marketing, ecsmsports.com. And then the show websites are easy as well, csashows.com and phillyshow.com.
Very easy.
Fantastic.
Well, listen, before we see you at the National, we're going to get you on again because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So hang in there. We're going to see you in the next couple of weeks.
That sounds great, guys.
All right,
Look forward
Joe.
to seeing you.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Great guy. Joe is a good guy.
He's
Joe
the best,
Drelich,
man. He's
East
a hard-working
Coast Sports.
guy.
Yeah, he works, man.
Yeah,
that guy works.
he really does.
And you know
He
something?
really
He's
does.
very, very, very creative.
Yeah.
Speaking of creative, we are now, can we bring this? We are thrilled. So who's the chick behind you in the painting?
That's extremely
that's
politically
Christy
correct.
Mathewson's wife, and there's Christy Mathewson
Right,
right there. That's a painting
Right.
Mathewson used to own.
Well, I think that would be a
Military uniform.
wonderful Christmas gift to me from the folks at Heritage.
It would look very nice in your living room.
You were just talking about art, so that's a nice segment.
You know what I just bought? My display in the pub, that pub area.
Yeah.
I just picked up. I'm a Christie fan. I'm a big Christie
Yeah, I know.
Mathewson fan.
I know.
And I have a copy of Pitching in a Pinch with my tobacco, my T206. Listen, PSA graded 6, I think it is, Christie Mathewson card.
Yeah.
But then I have next to him, one of the few cards I kept was my PSA 6 Chief Myers card. Now, Chief Myers was his battery mate.
Got it.
Right?
Yep.
I just picked up, I think it's one of 2 signed baseballs by Chief Myers. And
Wow.
the word chief is signed in Native American.
Really?
Yeah. So I have the ball, I have the card, I have the book, and I have Maddie. All on the same level. Loving it. Loving it. Now, that painting would make all the difference in the world, Prof. I just want to throw that out at you.
And that's when you get really drunk and you fight with Ellen and you're alone, dark in that room, and you sit there with the empty bottle of Jim Beam. Just all I really have are these Christy Mathewson items.
And my
it's
friend.
good that you have those.
Thank you.
And the Jim Beam.
Jim Beam. All right, Prof. Let's talk about the last auction and the next auction.
So we just finished our. We actually just had 2 auctions close. Our May auction, which was 4,500 lots. There were some great results in there. The big headlines were 70s cards continuing to get more valuable and get huge numbers. We had an incredible 71 Topps collection that we broke up. That pretty much every card was a 9, and they all set a record.
Hold on. Had to be David Hall.
No, but we just had the David Hall T206 collection, part 9.
Part 9, and there's only 80 more pots to go.
That was the final one.
Was it
it's been
really?
an incredible experience, David Hall?
What a
most
collection,
knowledgeable person
man.
on T206 I've ever
What
seen.
a
and his
collection.
collection was incredible.
The first time I met him was when the T206 book came out. We're going back 15 years. And Joe introduced me to him because he was the chairman of Collectors Universe.
Yeah.
And I said, we started talking, and the way he looked at me, I said, so how many cards do you have? He said, thousands. Just like that.
Thousands, even I would wager. It was incredible.
Amazing.
The rare backs, anything. And talking to him was just remarkable.
Oh, yeah.
He's great stories about where he found these one-of-ones, and he'd had them for over a decade or 2 decades just sitting on them. And,
absolutely.
It was the most complete T206 collection that existed, and now it's been
Did he
spread out
have, you
to
know
the hobby.
something, did he have a Wagner, and did he hold on to it?
We sold the Wagner.
You did
so
sell
he
the Wagner.
have
Okay,
one.
okay.
That was in the first
one.
part 1, which was 3 years ago.
12 years ago, right.
So very excited about that. And then we've got our summer auction coming up, which is cards, tickets, and then we have a remarkable Muhammad Ali collection, one of the finest I've ever seen. It's almost 2,000 items, and it encompasses just about everything from the legend's career. There's stuff he wore in the ring, stuff he wore training, posters, tickets, art about him, art that Ali did, autographs. It's really incredible. So we're very excited to offer that.
You know,
is the one source for that, or have you gotten a lot of Ali stuff and putting it all together? Really?
He's been putting it together for years and years, and it was time to sell, and we are honored to be the ones to present it. If you're an Ali collector, there's something in there for you. There's things you've never seen. And if you're just an Ali fan and you've never bought an Ali item, you need one in your collection. And, it runs the gambit from 7-figure, 6-figure pieces, but there's some $100 items in there too. So something for everyone.
Very cool. Prob, this is a non-sports related heritage little tidbit that I just read yesterday.
Okay.
I was reading an article on, I can't remember where it was. I think it was Fox or CNN, that the VCR market is red hot. And it said that you could be sitting on a gold mine with old VCR tapes.
You're kidding me.
Listen, so do you know how many VCR tapes Heritage has sold over the years?
Well, we have we just started a VHS department, and their first auction is this week. Actually, I'm also an auctioneer at Heritage, and I'll be calling that auction on Thursday. So we're very excited about it.
I heard 54,000 or some ridiculous number, but so
like movies, VHS movies.
If you have, like that, especially if they're unopened, right, Prov?
Got to be unopened.
Right.
And what you're looking for is the most valuable were the first release. So on the back of the box, if it's unopened, if it's the dates on there should be 2 dates within 1 year of the movie's release.
Star Wars, just movies that were movies when you were a kid. If you have unopened ones and they were first released, they could be worth some significant money, right, Mike?
Who are these people that bought VHS tapes of movies and didn't open them?
Blockbuster.
But I mean, so like they just when they went out of business.
Same with we've got the #1 video game auction house in the world. Same thing. They've got to be unopened. So I can't imagine as a kid getting a video game or a VHS tape and not opening it. But that's why they're valuable, because they're rare. They, everybody opened them.
When I was same thing with Nintendo games and all that stuff, right? When I was a kid, the big go-to game my son and I played like every day was Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You remember that? That was a great
fan myself.
The first guy he fought was some stiff, and you had to work up to Mike Tyson.
To a better stiff.
Yeah, right. But that game is. I was reading that game is worth significant money.
Wow.
That's a 6-figure game in a high grade.
You're kidding.
And
Imagine,
in the
it's just
VHS
unbelievable.
Auction, and we're pretty excited. We have the trilogy, Back to the Future trilogy, unopened, that were owned by the actor who played Biff.
Wow.
So,
very cool.
That's a pretty cool tie-in.
All
He's
right.
got unopened, and I know Back to the Future 1, his copy of it's over 20,000 already.
Now, Star Wars is worth some money, right?
Absolutely. Star Wars, anything. We do well with Star Wars cards in our department. Star Wars video games, Star Wars comics, Star Wars VHS. Our movie poster department gets huge prices for Star Wars posters. That's something that's been doing well for years, and it's still trending up.
Now, I have some unopened ones by Elegant Angel. Are those worth anything?
I think we'd say those have more sentimental value than actual value.
Is that like a Cinemax After Dark thing, or was that?
Yeah,
Worse.
along the lines of
What exactly is that?
That is funny.
Let me ask you, how about just old VCRs? Like I have 2 in the attic, just the machine. Are those worth
ask
it?
Prof.
I would say
It's open, though.
Are they unopened?
They're not unopened. They're used. They're very much
used. You've got spare parts there.
How
I
about
would say toss them out?
How about
now he's grasping?
How
Mike.
about
now he's
VHS
grasping.
tapes of my local cable show I did in the late '80s?
See, he's grasping.
I'm interested in that.
I bet you would be.
Good content to talk afterwards.
All right, Michael, what is your website address? You guys are killing me, both of you.
J.com.
All right, now listen, we are going to stop by the National, say hi. We may even take a little video. We've got a friend of ours that's going to be joining us to do some odds and ends videos.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe we can do like a little interview with you and Prof.
That'd be awesome.
Right?
I would love to do that.
Can't wait to see you guys. It's been too long.
I know. All right,
Absolutely,
Michael, we love
man.
you guys. Say hi to the other guy.
The other
what's his name? I always forget his name. Grady.
Yeah.
He's having brunch and then 11sies, so I'll get him after he eats.
Take care. We'll see you. Mike Prof from Heritage Auction. Good guy. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the other guy's coming on.
The other guy.
Joe Tomasulo. He's on his lunch break from the nursing home, so he's going to be joining us shortly. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
With record-breaking sales from everything from the white border T206 Honus Wagner for $3.12 million to some great items that support the Jackie Robinson Foundation, Golden Auctions has set the highest standards for the finest in sports cards, autographs, and game-used memorabilia. We're always accepting consignments of high-end premium sports treasures or entire collections. Please register for our next auction and bid now at goldenauctions.com. That's golden with an I. We at Golden Auctions are committed to providing unsurpassed customer service for the discriminating collector. That's exactly why we're the leader in the industry. Visit goldenauctions.com or call 856-767-8550. Remember, Golden Auctions. We don't just break records, we shatter them.
Okay, we are back. We spoke to Drelich. We spoke to Prov. Now we're speaking
How
to...
do you top that?
There's only one way you top it.
That's
with
it.
The man,
That's
the myth.
Yeah.
Joe Tomasulo. Hi, Joseph. Joe, take that damn shirt off, number one. What the hell you doing?
Tom.
What?
It's not my fault you got a 500 record this year.
No, excuse me. That is not true. We are one game over 500 now.
And coming. With a bullet.
That's right.
We're coming.
Walker pitched a 2-hitter last night.
We're coming.
And let me tell you something.
A complete game.
Three-hit shutout.
Right. Now let me tell you something.
Game.
Let me tell you something about your New York Yankees, okay? First of all, do you realize that the Yankees have not seen a championship in this century? That's number one. In this century.
They won in 2009.
They won in 2009, Tom.
They did win in 2009.
I'm sorry, 18 years.
Yeah. I mean, they beat the Phillies, so.
That's right. I forgot about that. All right. But beside that, okay, this is going to be a typical.
They haven't won in this decade.
Thank you. This is going to be a typical Yankee season
100%.
where they're going to run away with it.
Right.
And then when playoff times comes, they crumble.
They may
crumble like a graham cracker.
They may crumble before the playoffs.
Just like a graham cracker, they crumble, Joe.
Right. All those big guys, Judge.
Here's the problem with the Yankees.
Knees are going to get bad.
They score too many of their runs on the long ball, Tom. On round trippers.
They do.
And when you get into the playoffs and face tougher pitching.
That's right.
And everything gets consolidated, those pitchers don't give up home runs.
That's a great
point.
Simply.
So
he's right.
That's why the Yankees don't score runs in the playoffs.
So, I mean,
because they don't manufacture runs.
Well, so the point being is that I think the Red Sox, they're structured so that they can be competitive if, in fact, they make a playoff run.
They're coming. I mean, they got off to a horrible start.
I know
the fact that they're even at or just over 5 is a miracle this soon.
I agree.
I thought it was going to take them till July to get to 500.
But they're and their pitching has not been
been
bad.
better.
It has.
Their problem is the back end of the bullpen, and that's why
awful.
That's why they make Uvalde had a complete game last week. Walker had a complete. You never see complete games anymore.
But I'm telling you, and
it's really because the bullpen is awful.
Joe, I said this to you about a year ago. I said, here is the guy, and it's going to happen. Here's who this closer should be.
I know who you're going to say.
Chris Sale.
Absolutely.
Chris Sale 100%. Is going to be the Red Sox closer.
I think this year he's going to be their closer.
It's funny you said that, Tom, because I think another great pitcher may wind up being a closer. You know, I may eat crow on this, but don't be too surprised down the road if the Mets make DeGrom a closer.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. That wouldn't surprise me.
I don't know if his body can handle every fifth day.
That's the thing.
6-7 innings, 100 pitches.
Absolutely.
Throwing 94-mile-an-hour sliders and 101-mile-an-hour fastball.
I couldn't agree
Guys,
with you
listen,
more.
and DeGrom is still young, but I mean, a guy like Sale with the arm
He's
troubles.
not that young. He's 34.
See, he's older than I thought.
But
He's
you know
older than
something?
I
mean,
look at Dennis Eckersley.
I was going to say that Eckersley's
he was awful as a starter.
Well, he had 120-game season.
Awful.
He was.
I mean, at the end
with the Cubs,
he was terrible.
I'm just saying, near the end of his career as a starter, he was
There's a guy that went
from
being a decent starter to a Hall of Fame relief pitcher.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Chris Sale, if he stays healthy, and I think they say he's thrown the ball very well.
One inning.
That's all you need.
One inning. That's it.
And then you make, something.
Hey, if I remember, I think he closed the World Series about 4 years ago,
He did.
didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
The last 3 outs.
Yeah.
Anyway,
anyway.
Joe, let's talk about, first of all, were you happy with the results of the Manny Gordon auction, number one?
Always happy with setting records, Tom. Setting records is a good thing. Tom, ecstatic. I mean, the numbers were staggering.
I know, you guys.
Yellow Gowdy Rutan in 8, a little shy of $1 million. $500,000 for the red. How about the Garrick 9? $672,000.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
And the Greenberg rookie in a 9, $219,000. It just, it's almost like a Santa Claus gift list. It just, the numbers just go on and on. So,
Joe, you guys obviously, in memory lane, you guys have been doing this for a long time. I know you do a lot of planning. You know the business as well as anyone. Were there any, and are there any surprises that happen? Are there items that you thought would be okay that ended up being more than you thought? And was there anything in either of these past auctions for you?
Yeah, I mean, a Walter Payton rookie cello pack with his card on the top.
Yeah.
We were probably expecting mid-20s on that. It went for $43,000.
Okay.
Did very strong. Some Babe Ruth cards, just shattered records. An Uncle Jack's Ruth and a 2, we were expecting 40, 45K, $59,000. A Nielsen's Chocolate Ruth, that was a Pop 1 highest graded, but it was only graded a 4.5. Very condition-sensitive issue. Earth-shattering $91,000.
See, that's unbelievable. Joe, what about the opposite?
Couple of my friends wanted that card. They couldn't believe the number it went for. They got crushed.
Joe, I bid on that card per your instructions, and I bid on that Matty card, but I couldn't go past.
You mean the Matty ball?
The ball. I couldn't get past that threshold, man. I just couldn't get it. My wife would have shot me. She would have shot me. That's all I'm saying. As a matter of fact, I had to convince her, and I says, Ellen, listen very closely. Joe T is advising me on this. And she said, as long as he is, that's fine. But you cannot exceed this amount.
Right. But, Tom, here's what I distinctly told you.
Uh-oh, here we go.
It's very rare in this hobby when you get like a Mathewson autograph, one of those very tough to come by autograph balls, that it has 150% provenance.
Right.
That was the key aspect to this ball. And Tom, I'm not knocking PSA and JSA, Keating and Spence, and those guys are fantastic. They're the best at what they do, and they rarely miss. But no one's perfect. Right. And when you get a ball like that, came from A.J. Stats' family, yes, 1920 center fielder for the Giants. When you get a ball like that with 100% provenance, that's tough to come by. That's why I told you it may be worth, selling me your T206 carbs to raise the money to bid strong.
Don't think I didn't think about that. Let me tell you. But I finally, and what's funny? This is really funny. So the bid, the auction ends at, what was it, 11 o'clock at night, or whatever the hell it was, but then there's the continuous bidding. So I'm lying.
Wound up ending like 4 in the morning.
Right. So I'm lying in bed, and I have my cell phone next to my bed. So I kind of open up my eyes, click on, and I look. At the time, I was still high bid. But then, about 3 hours later, I hear a text. Bing. It's Tomasulo. He says, ugh, you lost. Remember that, Joe? You sent me the text.
I sure do, Tom.
And I was depressed, but that's okay. We got through it. Hey, by the way, our giveaway this week is, this was picked, we're picking now, myself, you, to viewers and listeners that have been real loyal since day one. So we asked JM to pick this week, and you picked Music Mike Variali. Mike's been a great loyal sponsor. Mike, you know the deal. I need your address again. Congratulations. Mike is a disc jockey, but not just a disc jockey.
Tell them what they want.
I'm sorry. A signed 1967 Rico Petrocelli in his wool. That's a wool uniform. In his wool uniform.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Nice. Joe, let's talk about the vintage market. What are we seeing here? Am I seeing the modern market? Is it kind of is the bubble starting to burst, in your opinion?
It's going a little sideways. I'm not going to argue with you, Tom. Again, the modern market's a little dangerous. Okay, there's risk there. I mean, one severe blown ACL for one of those top basketball stars, NFL stars. Now what happens?
Or an extra ring ding for Zion.
Now, if you're talking about the modern market for guys like Brady and Jordan, if you consider them modern because they're 90s, etc., they're set in stone. That to me is safe.
Right.
But when you're talking about the guys in the midst of their career, like that are budding superstars and, knocking on the door of immortality, but not there yet, it's a crapshoot. It's a risk.
So let's talk about a guy that's somewhere in the middle, and I think he's more toward immortal than just starting out, and that's Mike Trout. So as of this taping, Mike Trout got a base hit against the Sox, but he was in an 0 for 26 slump.
Yeah, but Mike Trout's been around for how many years
I'm just saying,
now?
but I'm just asking. Let's say it's not just a slump. Let's say it's not a 10-game slump. Let's say he has a bad year the rest of the year.
Doesn't matter.
Does that affect Mike Trout moving forward in terms of
not at this stage? Not at this stage of the game.
It's not going to create increased value in his cards. They'll probably stay stagnant until his next great year. But, John, do you realize Trout has a lifetime 1,000?
I know. That's why I said he's more immortal than he's more immortal.
Oh, there's no doubt. And not only that, but how many years has Trout been in the league, Joe?
I think 12.
12 years.
All right, so
he's established
look
himself.
Look at Willie Mays' last 3 or 4 seasons. You know what I mean? Look at Mickey Mantle's last 3 or 4 seasons. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's a handful of guys, if they drove off the Brooklyn Bridge today, are going to Cooperstown.
Right.
Trout's one of them.
Yeah.
Okay? You got Pujols. You got Cabrera. There's 3 pitches that stand out in my mind.
Yeah, the Kershaw thing, I think the jury's still out on Kershaw.
Huh.
No,
the jury's still out.
I don't like
he's a slam dunk. He's a slam dunk. Yeah.
He has a lifetime 2.48 ERA.
Right. What's his one-loss record?
He's won
Doesn't
3
matter
Cy
anymore.
Young Awards. He's knocking on the door of 200 wins. He's 10 or 11 short.
And keep in mind that nowadays, and even with Kershaw, though he's been in the league a long time now, the win-loss thing isn't what it used to be.
And I agree with that.
Because you're getting yanked in the 5th inning now.
I agree with that.
You know
I
what
agree
mean?
with Verlander and Scherzer, Joe. But Joe, Greinke? You think that's a possibility?
Greinke can fall either way.
Really?
Yeah.
His numbers say yes. His numbers say yes, but
he's got a better walk to strikeout to walk ratio than the great Tom Seaver. I mean, he actually has a 4-to-1 strikeout to base on ball ratio, which is spectacular. He's going to strike out over 3,000 batters. He's going to eclipse that. He does have 216 wins. His lifetime ERA is a little high. It's 3.4 to 3.5. But
in this era, that's outstanding.
In this era, John, it's not awful.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. No, he absolutely has the. Now, I think Greinke is, to me, he's never flourished in a big market. He's been a small market guy. He's played better in a small market. He definitely does not have any charisma to speak of.
Right.
This
right.
cup
John,
has more.
A spade a spade. You wouldn't leave him alone to babysit for your 10-year-old. Okay.
I mean, so there's no glitz with that. There's no glitz at all. But numbers wise, he's going to be there.
All right. So let's a guy like Greinke. Is that a good his card? Is that a good investment, or does it fall somewhere in the middle?
You know what? Here's the thing. There's Hall of Famers, and then there's popular, desirable Hall of Famers. I don't think Greinke is going to, because of what John was saying with his personality, he's very aloof. He's very secluded, doesn't say much. He's not popular with reporters. And his numbers aren't earth-shattering.
Right.
So when you put all that together, he's going to be a borderline Cooperstown inductee.
Right.
And, yeah, his cards could get an initial pop, but I don't see them going over the top with the likes of a Greinke.
Interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Joe Tomasulo from Memory Lane Auctions is in the house. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little more about some of these modern players, because I'm kind of in agreement. We've talked about it a million times. Some of them, it's mind-boggling, the investment in some of these cards.
Yeah.
Versus, guys that are dead. The vintage
Whose stats
cards
are not going to change.
They're not changing. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Owned and operated online auction, specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
With so many fakes out there, it's hard to figure out if the sneakers you want are real. But when you buy eligible sneakers on eBay, you can be confident they're genuine because every pair goes through a meticulous authentication process. Introducing eBay Authenticity Guarantee. First, the sneakers you've purchased are inspected by a team of professional authenticators who carefully examine the shoes, including color, pattern, logos, and materials. Then they're measured and compared to the eBay listing to make sure they match. Even the laces, accessories, and box are checked. Once your sneakers are verified, they receive an authenticity tag, and every tag is NFC enabled so you can see the detailed specs. eBay Authenticity Guarantee. No fakes, no fraud, no doubt.
Okay,
And in fact,
we are back.
I got to do the thing.
Well, I was going to say we were back and introduce you.
Usually I just come right out of the break.
Rico says this is how he does it.
This is what you get for missing rehearsal.
This is how Rico does it.
Rico.
No. This is how he starts. He says, eBay read after commercial, second commercial break.
That's awesome.
That's what he does.
Does he read his name above it?
Yeah.
Rico.
Rico.
Rico ... Anyway, as I was saying, eBay is the place to go for all of your memorabilia, sports or non-sports cards, autographs, and much more, whether it's a gift for that special someone, like Zap, or you just want to add to your collection. eBay's huge marketplace should be your first stop. And if you sell, now's the time to flip those cards and get some extra cash. I shop on eBay all the time. That's the truth. That's eBay connecting buyers and sellers globally.
Joe, I want to talk about memorabilia. Memorabilia seems to be, I'm talking vintage memorabilia. Well, actually, I'm talking modern too. The memorabilia market has remained strong, or seems to have remained strong throughout everything that's transpired. Your opinion on that, especially vintage?
You're talking bats,
game-used bats, signed balls, game-used jerseys.
Absolutely, and there's recently been a spike
in
high-end memorabilia.
Yeah.
Especially Root, Garrett, Cobb, Mathewson,
Myers,
DiMaggio, Mantle, Williams, Clemente, Aaron Mays, all those icons, their stuff is going through the roof.
Is it because, Joe, and I think that's true even with modern guys too. I think the that sort of first person thing. He touched this bat. He wore this jersey. There's something special about that, even more than a card, even more than an autograph card, even.
That's why I collect autograph cards.
Right.
I love the fact they held the card.
Right.
We just got a baseball for our summer auction guys. It's unfathomable. It's a Babe Ruth single sign ball with, again, 150% provenance. He signed it on July 10th, 1947 at Buffalo Stadium in Houston, Texas. It was a minor league game, Fort Worth against the Houston Buffaloes. Okay? PSA graded the signature at 10.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. And someone wrote on the north and south panel the date, and that the minor league game was actually a 1-1 tie after 11 innings. July 10th was Babe Ruth Day in Houston, Texas.
Oh, wow.
So Ruth went to a luncheon. The luncheon has the date on it. And then the stadium was like 4.5 miles. It was Rice Hotel. So Ruth jumped in a car, went over to the stadium, watched the game, and signed his ball for someone. I mean, gorgeous signature. It's going to be one of the top lots in our auction, and I don't even know what it's going to go for.
Joe,
how do we even put a price on it?
So, Joe, I mean, and we're seeing this a lot. You know, even when you go on your site or other sites, you see these cards that are whatever, 70, 80, 90, even 100 years old. They look great. Like, I mean, how does something like that get preserved like that? I mean, obviously, whoever had it maybe took really good care of it. But I mean,
it's been in a shoebox.
But
even
anywhere. With age and time, it's amazing how good some of these vintage items still look.
Yeah, you know, John, there were lots of people that put their stuff in, you know, obviously they didn't have the 9-card plastic holder.
Yeah, they didn't have the little plastic ball holder then, right? You know,
but
so
they were sacred to them. These were hollowed pieces in their mind.
I guess, yeah.
They were very important to them, and they protected them. If they put them in shoe boxes, maybe they stacked them neatly.
Yeah.
Okay. Or they put them. You know, another big thing was putting special collectibles in books. You know, closing the book,
keep it flat. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Joe, what about obscure players? I'm going to use the T206 collection as an example. An obscure player like Red Doohan or Shag Shaughnessy or Lena Blackburn.
Yeah.
And a signed card by those those players that are more or less obscure, but there aren't many of them in existence. If you know, are those?
They want a few $1,000s.
They are.
Yeah.
I don't think there's as big a market for signed T206s because cards signed back then are so rare.
Yeah.
You know, out of sight, out of mind, guys.
Right.
We'll use that philosophy. But speaking of signed cards, let's just piggyback off that root ball. We have the only signed U.S. Caramel root card, Pop 1, the only one known to exist, coming up in our summer auction.
Wow.
And Tom, I just got a 356 of the 407.52 Topps card, near set, all autographed.
Wow.
No kidding.
Are you kidding me?
Man.
20-year labor of love by our consignor. It's missing the Matthews, but it includes the Mantle, the Jackie Robinson, and the Willie Mays.
So let me ask you just.
No, there is no Campanella. There's not one known 52 top signed Campanella.
Okay, so the rest of anybody that buys that collection, other than the Campanella, does have access to purchasing the rest of that collection signed if they dig deep enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's 7 cards that were never signed.
Okay, 7.
Including the Campanella, that are not known. And I believe that...
I didn't know that.
Oh, to the best of my recollection, 12 to 14 Pop 1s.
Wow.
This gentleman, our consignor, has 6 Pop 2s as part of his collection.
Yep.
And, you know, we're going to break it up. We'll have like 140 to 145 solo lots. And then we'll have 6 or 7 group lots.
Listen, so on this show, we've mentioned Clayton Kershaw, Tom Seaver, Max Scherzer. Did you know we have a pitching guru as our guest right now? I didn't know this until Zap just told me.
Yeah,
so
he didn't know it, Joe.
I'm guessing you were a pitcher and you're a pitching coach now, Joe? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, a few nights a week into the waning hours of the morning, I teach kids how to pitch.
High school level? What is that what we're talking about?
Anything.
Anything.
7, 8 years old to pro.
Were you a pitcher?
I was. I was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I topped out in the mid 80s, 85, 86.
So how did you segue into coaching?
Simple. Tom Seaver was my idol. So let's dot the I's and cross the T's.
No, actually, that's a good point.
Tom Seaver was such an analyst. He was so analytical.
He was.
Okay. To the point where one of his famous quotes was, if he knew what he was doing wrong in a game and couldn't fix it, here's how he described it. I never had such a gap between analysts and execution.
So, Joe, how long have you been doing it?
He was such a pitching perfectionist that it just spilled over to me.
He inspired you to do that. I tell you, I'm a media guy. I wrote a sports media column in Boston for a few years, and I loved Seaver on TV. I loved him doing games. I thought he was excellent as an analyst. That's really interesting, Joe.
Joe,
I didn't know that.
how long have you been doing it?
20 plus years.
No kidding. Good for you.
See?
Yep.
Listen, I want to ask both of you guys.
5 MLB pitches.
No kidding.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
How do we not know this?
I want to run this by both of you guys. You know, there's a lot of talk, and I'm a big proponent of it, shortening the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I watched a game the other night, a minor league game with a pitching clock. I tell you guys, I think it is the best thing that I have seen in a lot of years. Why are you opposed to that?
I hate all this stuff. I hate it.
But you
if you don't like baseball, don't watch
Tom,
it.
let me ask you a question.
If you don't like baseball, don't watch it. You know.
When are they going to stop? When they turn baseball into a bunch of cyborgs?
No. But I mean, but hold on. I think the 24. Hold on though, Joe. I think the 24-second clock has really helped the NBA. Has helped the NBA.
Okay.
I mean, all I'm saying is a pitching clock, a 24-second pitching clock, speeds the game up. There's none of this walk off to stuff. I mean, it just speeds the game up.
Listen, what all this stuff is trying to do, putting the guy on second.
No, I disagree with that.
7-inning doubleheader.
That's a joke.
Listen, here's what this does.
I agree.
They're trying to push baseball on people that don't like baseball. It's like trying to push soccer in America on non-soccer fans. Just make soccer the best game possible for soccer fans.
Yeah,
don't try to get football and baseball fans to be soccer fans.
But don't you think...
If you don't have the time to watch a baseball game, then that's not your sport.
But sometimes a 3.5 hour...
What they really should be doing is really focusing on young people getting back and playing baseball. That's what's the problem with baseball.
Well, I think part of the problem there is, and Joe, I want to get your opinion on this, and JM, I think part of the problem there is you can blame MLB for that, because guess what? A kid on the East Coast is not going to watch a World Series game that starts at 9 o'clock at night.
That's a different issue. The
not
TV
going to
thing,
happen.
even the NBA Finals that we're in right now.
You have to take
every game is 8:30, 9. I do agree with that to a certain extent.
You got to take
that's
the games.
TV and that's money.
How do we get kids, Joe? How do we get younger kids more involved again with baseball? How do we get them to love the game? Listen, I know basketball is right now reigning supreme with young adults and in little kids. But
here's the problem. iPhones. Guys, that's the problem. In fact, John, I was watching, the interviews after a game?
Sure.
They interview the players and the fans are waving in the background.
Yeah.
They're not waving in the background anymore.
I know.
I was watching an interview the other day, and the people right in the background are on their iPhone.
I know.
When they could be on TV with their head down.
Yeah.
We are fighting technology, and technology rules. I have students, Tom, 8 and 9-year-old students that have my iPhone's an 8. They have 13 iPhones. and they're showing me how to fix something on my phone.
Listen, we got about 3 minutes. Tell us about our friends at CSA.
You got it, Zap. CSA Shows is proud to present the Chantilly Show being held on June 24th to the 26th. Held at the Dulles Expo Center in Chantilly, Virginia, just minutes from the Dulles International Airport. Celebrating over 25 years at the same location, there will be over 300 dealer tables exhibiting on over 100,000 square feet of space, with both vintage sports cards and memorabilia, as well as modern-day sports sports treasures, you won't have to look very far for that special card, bat, ball, or autograph. Major auction houses and third-party grading companies will be on site to assist you with your collecting and authentication needs. Some of the greatest players to ever grace the gridiron will be on hand. We talked about this earlier. Mel Blount, Chris Carter, Marshall Faulk, Doug Flutie, Mean Joe Green, Richard Seymour, and many, many more. For more information, go to www.csashows.com. That's the Chantilly Show, where you can find all of your sports collectible treasures.
Joseph, we have about a minute left. Your website address?
MemoryLaneInc.com.
Now, listen, we're going to be seeing you at the National, and JM is going to be doing going around to some of our great sponsors with little 3-4 minute interviews, and you're on the list, so make sure you have your makeup on.
I hope I'm on the list.
All right, Joseph, we love you.
I'm going to work on my curveball, too. I need some pointers on my curveball.
Say hi to JP. And,
stay on top, John.
And Dan, and go Red Sox.
Yeah.
No. Have a good day, guys.
Take care. Joe Tomasulo from Memory Lane Auctions. Good show.
He's
good
the
guest.
best. Yeah,
he's the best. He's great.
Yeah.
He's
great show today. Great guest.
Good.
As always.
So what else? That's about it.
That's about it, kid. Yeah.
Good job today.
I'm really looking forward to the Nationals.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun,
man.
and we're looking forward to it. So with that being said, you guys, thank you as always for your support. You guys have been absolutely amazing to us.
The best.
Fantastic
We're lucky.
viewers, listeners. We're very blessed.
Yeah.
With that being said, happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.